listening to the Medic Materials Podcast, hosted by Mike Turek, Emily Yates, Kelsey Coons, and Gerard Cuomo. Each month, we discuss EMS news, medical science, and review actual EMS calls, bringing many educational opportunities to the listener. Portions of the calls have been altered to protect the privacy and identity of all involved.
Hello and welcome. I was trying to give you guys a signal like, hey, you got 4 seconds before I turn on your, oh shit, now I broke everything. Before I do stuff. There you go. Poof. This is, I'm like multiple beverages in tonight. This could be a terrible stream, guys. Just saying.
On my first one in a while.
Yep. Ooh, what are you having? That looks delicious.
But I have a Marlin on it.
Ooh. What is it?
It's vodka and pineapple juice. It's nothing crazy.
I mean, vodka and pineapple can be something delicious.
Oh,
Absolutely
it is.
Delicious. Jess we have this lemonade.
It's a cool, refreshing drink.
It's such a cool, refreshing drink.
Oh, that's cool, refreshing drink.
And she mixed it with strawberry Smirnoff. And
yes, she did, Money Penny.
Oh my damn! It was on fire. What are you doing, Rebel?
That sounds quite interesting.
My gosh, interesting. Oh man, do I have? I hope
you
guys.
Pushy.
I hope you guys haven't seen this clip already, but just I have a great clip waiting for end of tour. I'll
take the rapist for 200.
It's now right.
Oh man!
All right. What is the?
No, it's a Patrick Stewart clip.
Yes.
But again, it's. I thought it was.
Mr. Wolf's head looks like a fanny.
I thought it was hilarious. We'll kick off end of tour with it. But yeah, guys, welcome back to another Friday stream here of the podcast. And I want to congratulate you guys because as of the last episode, we now have over 20,000 downloads of this crazy show.
Yeah. There's 20,000 people just clicking download on this shit.
So apparently, which is
what the hell's wrong with you people?
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh my damn. Now granted, we've all said like, hey, that'd be cool if that was like one show got downloaded 20,000 times. But you know what?
None of us would be working if that happened.
Exactly. Time and progress. What are you doing, Phil?
Then we'd have nothing to talk about because none of us would be working. We'd always be making money off the 20,000 downloads. And
exactly,
we'd just be
right?
Talking about. So what did you do yesterday? Yesterday we had lunch at the yacht club and
Top Hat Monocle.
That's all right.
I christened my new sloop.
Yeah.
Yes,
my buddy over there.
Yes, my buddy.
My buddy. It's Swanson over there.
Remember in the Patreon, this last month's Patreon, I said I was gonna put up a poll for Phil's new name.
I was gonna say you just put up a poll for Phil and dance spider dance.
That's right.
Dance spider dance. No, that's not nice. We got to be slightly professional with Phil.
We'll throw
not
change
really.
at him.
But
Make it hell,
bitch.
I just wanna Phil. I just wanna say that that's the wrong button.
Of course it is.
Good. Damn it. We're gonna listen to the intro again because I have no way of stopping it. There we go.
That's funny.
Try to push the stop button. I don't know.
I told you this is gonna be an interesting stream tonight because I'm in deep with a couple beverages. And now that Gerard and I don't, indulge ourselves in multiple beverages per week, less is more now. But so if you're not a Patreon, go over to Patreon, Medic Materials on Patreon, sign up to be a $5 donut Patreon, and you'd get access to all the craziness that happens on Patreon. But last episode, we asked and put up a poll for what the Phil Foundation's name should be. Oh, that's nice. Why is this? Let's
Daddy.
Let's do that. So, Phil Foundation, Phil Man Bun, The Man Handle, Mr. Man Bun, Daddy Phil, The Champ, Papa Phil, and The Manhole all were options in the poll. However, I'm super sad to say that my favorite,
Hail to the champion, baby,
did not win. And with 50% of the vote, the Phil Foundation gets to remain the Phil Foundation. So,
wow. All right.
Yeah, there it is. That's the result of the poll. But yeah.
All right.
So
well,
we can't rely on the Patreons
good
to,
stuff.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
come up with anything, more exciting than the Phil Foundation. But that's okay. So
I'll take it.
Yeah,
it's called Crayola, like I started from the beginning.
Oh, nice. Especially with what he was wearing last episode. Jesus Christmas. But yeah, so we're gonna change gears and we're gonna do a discussion all about geriatrics tonight. And
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, I know, right? We're gonna, there's so much to talk about with the geriatric population. We've kind of cherry picked a few. I know that Butch, you want to bring up a few things. I know that Phil wants to bring up a few things, and then Gerard and I'll kind of just cherry pick off of that. But first, I again have to do Kelsey's job. I'm gonna keep slamming down the gauntlet until she comes back and does her job. But for today's rig check, like I said, with the last episode, we've now surpassed the 20,000 downloads of the show. So I just want to sincerely thank all of the people, whether you found us literally the last episode and just started listening, or you've been an OG like all of us and listened all the way back to episode 1, which was god awful and cringy. But
yes,
you know what? Thank you for staying with the shenanigans, and you guys give us a reason to keep on doing what we do every other Friday. So with that, there is much more ridiculousness on Patreon. Make sure that if you guys can subscribe to Patreon, it's $5 a month. You get a CME, a free CME through the Medic Materials CME Academy every other month. You also get a third podcast every month, plus a lot of other cool shit. So make sure that you go become a $5 donut Patreon. Cronuts. I didn't get them out, but they're right behind me. I don't know if anyone can see.
And she's making them too.
Boom! Right there.
Nice.
Your lovely fiance is sending me even more, which is awesome. Then I'm going to take them and do a bunch of creative stuff with them, like, photos and stuff. And there might be a contest for Cronuts coming up in the future. So make sure you head over to medicmaterials.com/merch to get your Cronut. That's awesome.
Ooh.
And lastly, I want to shout out this month to our listeners in Egypt and the good old state of Pennsylvania, as well as a special donut shout out to our brand new Patreons, Candace and Barry. Thank you for being awesome.
Cool. Yeah, fucking A. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Patreon's been growing. We've gotten more and more, subscribers in Patreon, even though, again, I come on half sloshed and can't even, run a stream. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna turn it over to the Phil Foundation.
Hail to the champion, baby!
And let's start our discussion with polypharmacy, right? I think this is one of the biggest things that we have to understand and recognize in the geriatric population. And one of the things that I wanted Phil, again, I was super busy today, so I didn't get a chance to research any of this. So thank you, Phil, for picking up my slack. But I really wanted to look at like the drugs that they take that can interact poorly with each other, or the drugs that we might give them that might interact badly with something that they're already on, or something that, might potentiate something or make that effect stronger. So what did you find out, Phil?
So there's two like big parts of it. Beta blockers for two reasons. One, most geriatric patients don't actually know why they take it, or they'll say like, oh, I'm on a blood pressure med, and they could be on metoprolol, labetalol, any kind of those meds. And like, for example, patients with AFib, they have no idea what they take. You just revert to the old, just give them 15, 20 of cardizem if they're in rapid AFib, and then it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because now you're dual channel blocking the heart, and it's not going to be able to really compensate much after that.
No, and there's nothing that we're going to be able to give to do anything about that other than hope that the effects wear off eventually.
Yeah. The amount of people, elderly patients, let me rephrase what I was about to say. Most of the elderly patients that we deal with, they have absolutely no clue what they take. They just say like, oh, my doctor gave me this list and this bucket of meds. I just take them when I'm told to.
And the big bucket.
It's
they're shaking like Michael J. Fox trying to use an Etch-a-Sketch.
Too soon. Too soon. Way too soon.
But that just proves that you really have to like really dig deep with like a good assessment. Do you know what you take these for? Well, if you don't know, then do you have AFib? Do you have high blood pressure?
And I think a lot of it, if you can't figure it out because they're a poor historian, you should probably be Googling what these meds are for, at least to get you in the ballpark. There's a lot of times that, the doctor prescribes a certain medication for, a offshoot reason of why they use it. Like a secondary reason as to why they would give that. But it at least will get you into the ballpark, because at least Google will sit there and go, okay, it's used for this condition and this condition and this condition. Okay, do you have any of those? Oh yeah, that AFib, that kind of sounds vaguely familiar. Cool. Maybe that's why they take XYZ med.
And if you ask them, do you have any cardiac issues? Well, no. We take metoprolol. We take that for. I'm not sure. Will you have a history of AFib? I don't know. What's that? A regular heartbeat. Oh yeah, I have that. Well, that's a cardiac problem.
Or do you have high blood pressure? No. Why are you on the hydrochlorothiazide? Oh, well, that's for blood pressure. But it's been controlled for years.
Because I take the medication.
Right, because I take the medication. Exactly. We've all heard these stories before, and it really lends itself to why we have to ask really in-depth questions. Like, it's not just like, oh, okay, what's your history? Okay, cool. Oh, what's your med list? Cool. Let's start putting those things together.
And if you don't know why they take the metoprolol, check on the med list, see if they take, a warfarin or Eliquis, something like that. That may give you a clue as to why they take the metoprolol as well,
Right.
Or for some, like when they're discharged from the hospital, it'll say, like if they replace, say cardizem with metoprolol or something like that, it'll say like stop taking the cardizem immediately, switch to labetalol, something like that, and you can kind of guess from there what they take it for.
Yeah, I love, like, that is one of the things that I absolutely love when I walk into a house is the recent discharge papers, because it typically will have the most up-to-date med list. Typically. Not always, but most of the time. It'll at least get you, again, in the ballpark. Like, I love that. It's amazing. Hey, cool. You're on this. You're on aspirin. You're on whatever. Okay, cool. Do you still take all these? Yep. Awesome. Thank you. What else did you find out, Phil?
So another thing with beta blockers is the compensatory mechanism for someone who's on those type of medications drops drastically. I think one of the things I read said it's like a 75 to 80% drop in compensation in major traumas.
Damn. Now, so again, like with that, right? Beta blockers are going to lower your beta 1, beta 2s, right? So beta 1 is all your heart tropes. So how hard your heart squeezes, how stretchy it can go to allow more fill, the, conductivity through the electrical conductivity through the heart, how fast or slow that goes, and how fast or slow your heart rate goes, right? So if, not just in trauma, but like as soon as you said that, my immediate thought was to sepsis, right? This is why when you go to a nursing home and you get a septic patient, they're already in decompensated shock.
Right.
So many times, right?
And you look at the vital signs and you think, well, this patient looks, their blood pressure's, 120s over 70s, their pulse rates in the 60s. Yeah, because they're on that beta blocker.
Right. Right.
And or thinking, yeah, they look good, but you look at that patient, they look like shit. You're like, yeah, something's going on with this patient.
Right. Or it's even the worst one, which is like their 90s over 50s with a heart rate of 86. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Why isn't their heart rate 120? Oh, let's look at the med list. Oh, look, they're on metoprolol. They're on low pressor. They're on something of rate control. And you're like, oh, well, this is now going to hit it. It's going to hit it twofold, right? It's going to hit it via the heart rate. So it takes away their compensatory mechanism for increasing heart rate. But then it's also going to decrease the squeeze. So it's going to lower blood pressure as well. So like, yeah, it's amazing how much beta blockers really can affect in shocky type patients. And I mean, I know you guys know this. Geriatrics so frequently that when we see them, they're in some form of shock.
Mm-hmm.
Some form,
Yeah, because they usually don't. They're not usually not the ones that call you. Usually it's the family that calls you for them because they walk in and they see, mom or dad or grandpa or grandma on the floor. They've been there for 2 days. Like, wow, how'd you get there? So when you walk in there, they're already in bad trouble.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of. Like, especially as they keep going, it's like, they just circle the drain and they're like, oh, everything's fine. And their family's like, grandpa hasn't been right the last 3 days, but, oh, yep, he's just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they don't want to leave the house. Right. They're afraid if they leave the house, they're not going to come back.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. They don't, you will meet more resistance from an older person than you will from, a junkie. I mean, it's just, they just do not want your help.
Right. For so many reasons as well. Like, it's, my wife went to the hospital and she died there and now I don't want to go. Or
I think you find it more with widowers than you do with, with the married older couples. Married older couples, a lot of times you'll get one to go and then the other. But yeah, widowers, you'll find a lot more resistance.
Right. Or, hey, my friend went and they didn't come back. So no, I'm not going. Like they look at it like a place like, yep, if I go there, I'm dead. Right. Even for, I could just have a simple boo-boo cut, whatever, and they ain't going, but there's other reasons. Like there's so many silly, stupid reasons. Phil, before we go into that, do you have anything else before I roll off on this tangent?
Another big thing is just like blood thinners. A lot of old people take it mostly for, they lose mobility. Doc puts them on a blood thinner to help stop blood clots. And they don't really, not that they don't, take care of themselves, but they don't adjust to, I gotta, make my house as fall and trip proof as possible. They try and live the normal life they did, and then that just causes a bunch of more issues.
And that was with which drugs? The
blood thinners.
The blood thinners? Yeah. I mean, gosh, I couldn't tell you, it's amazing how banged up and bruised some little frail, old man, old lady can get just being on blood thinners, especially as they get frailer and more fragile. It's like, oh, look, now they have a skin tear. Now that skin tear won't stop bleeding. It's the little simple things, right? But look at all the fall calls, right? Like every single fall call with an elderly patient, I'm like, oh, they're going to have a head bleed. When I get there, they're going to be gorked out of their mind. They're going to have a head bleed. Yep. Like that is exactly what my thought process is. And it's like, yep, they tripped over their little rug, their little stupid area rug, and now they're dead.
I'll have to find the statistic again, but I remember reading somewhere that falls in patients with blood thinners, like 48% of them result in some kind of head bleed, and if it's not treated, it's fatal for them.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's like 48%. It's like 48.2%.
Right, and we have to think the anatomy of the geriatric patient changes, right? Their brain shrinks as they get older, which means there's more space inside the skull. So they rattle around a lot more, so concussions are easier, right? Shearing is a whole lot easier of different blood vessels. So, not only do we have to worry about ischemic strokes, but hemorrhagic bleeds and hemorrhagic strokes are way more prevalent in elderly populations because all they have to do is get into a fender bender and their brain sloshes around, shears a couple blood vessels, and now they're bleeding for a week. And by the time they actually feel, oh my God, the headache or this, that, the other thing, it's like now they're gorked out of their mind. And, you see a grapefruit size, bleed when we actually get to the CT scanner, because again, they don't feel things because, their neurological system is decreased. So they're not going to feel things like we would. Anything to add, Gerard?
No, I mean, everyone's pretty much hitting it.
You've been quiet.
Trying to think of something. I've been trying to think of stuff, but it's like, I mean, everyone's already.
We got to give you a 1-2.
No, the biggest thing for me is how to talk to them. It's like you just. I know we've talked about it before in other episodes and whatnot, but it's you can't talk to someone of that generation or those previous generations. I mean, you think about it now that the World War II generation, they're in their 90s, right? And we're losing them really, really fast now. The Korean War guys, that era of people, they're in their 70s and 80s. Your Vietnam guys are in their 70s.
Yeah.
So these are all, I would say, different generations than the people we get that are younger. let's just say, of like my generation, or even maybe just a little bit older than me, but it's a different mindset. It's a different way they think, and they don't like medical shit. They don't like people taking care of them. They don't like to think that they need help. And again, then they also then you have the ones that they're like, no, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die right here, in my house. I'm not going and dying in some fucking hospital.
Right.
And I hate to say it, but I feel you.
I completely agree with people like that. Like, I wouldn't want.
But that's the these are the mindsets, and I'm just just from my experience with them, you can't go in there and well, I'm sure there's a few people that are they're just condescending to begin with, but you take these 20-something-year-olds that they only know how to talk to people on a fucking text. They don't actually know how to physically talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched them. They go in and they're like the most condescending assholes. They're like, okay, Mr. So-and-so, we're going to give you how many. And he's like, no, man, I'm not going to. Well, okay, well, we're just going to do this. And it's like, did you not hear the motherfucker that like stormed the beach of fucking Normandy tell you he's not fucking doing that?
Mm-hmm.
How about you change your tactic a little bit and talk to him with a little fucking respect? It goes a long way.
It
does.
Does.
Respect. There's no respect anymore.
There is definitely a generational gap that I think a lot of people have, especially going from the age of conversation to the age of the internet. Like, that is an absolute thing. People want to say that it doesn't exist, but it totally does. Like, it is really hard for people to have conversations with other people now, face to face.
And I was gonna say I use those generations or those timelines mainly because when you think about it, today, we past 20 years, a lot of vets. We got a lot of vets out there, but back then, unless you had like some serious fucking problem with you, or you were rich enough to have mommy and daddy, pay your way out of it. You had to serve a certain amount of time in the military. So a lot of these guys are military guys. The overwhelming majority from those eras, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s even.
Right.
These are guys that, especially in the 60s and 70s, they were just, sitting back cracking a freaking, PBR, having a good time, and next thing you know, they're getting their fucking head cut, shaved and sent off to fucking Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are guys that, they don't respond to the condescending fucking bullshit. Like, you need to just be real and just talk to them like a human fucking being, and render respect.
Right. And
when it's due.
I never understood the ideology that, old people need to be treated like children. And that's kind of like, and so many people do that, right?
Yeah. We're gonna do this now, sir. And I'm just like, I'm watching this girl. It's like, we're gonna and I'm just like, are you talking to this fucking, like hardened fucking veteran like he's a 2-year-old?
Well, and that's it. It's like I don't understand where this came from. Like, why is it that we group an entire population of people into, they're old, so they must be a child, right?
Because I'll put it this way: if I start shitting my pants, you can bet your ass. Keep talking to me normal, because I'm still going to be a fucking asshole. All right, I'm not going to revert to being some kid and go, "Oh yeah, give me bati." No,
just don't.
I'm gonna shit my pants. I'm gonna look at you, and if you talk to me the wrong way, I'm gonna fucking throw it at you.
That's what I was waiting for. As long as you kept throwing it at them, like.
Yeah, it's like nice. When people talk to, residents in nursing homes with dementia and stuff. Those people have moments of lucidity. Like,
right,
you could tune into that level from time to time and be like, all right, just talk to them like they're people. Eventually, they're gonna, you get through to them a little bit. But no, it's like, oh, how you doing, sir? Or ma'am, let's do this. Okay,
It's
isn't
okay,
that precious?
Honey, come on, honey, let's go.
Yeah.
No, stop.
Yeah, it is so sickening. It's so aggravating. To
Mr., Mrs., Sir, ma'am.
The best is, yeah, but the funny thing is, the best is when you're with a partner and they're doing that to them, and you look at them and they look at you, and you're just, and like they know you know what's going on in their head, and they just give you that, and then they look back at her, and you're just like, yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's
you talk to the patient, sir, ma'am, Mr., Mrs., and then if they want to be called by their first name or whatever, then that's what you do. But until then, it's
Yeah.
So get out of your little fucking head and get off of this, with your talking with your thummies, okay? And we're gonna put the thummy thing down, and we're gonna talk to people, and we're gonna actually learn to read people.
Oh, that
read how? Oh my god! Oh, you want to talk about making your job like 100% easier? Is if you start talking to someone and you read them, and it will shape how you continue to talk with them. If you talk to someone and say, hi, Mrs. So-and-so.
There's a word for that. Conversation.
There we go. But yeah, you're going to talk to somebody, and you start off, hey, Mr. So-and-so, I'm Gerard, I'm your paramedic, I'm here because whoever called and whatever. And if they're like, hey, blah blah blah, and they start just the way they talk. If they're a little bit more on the relaxed end of it, and they maybe have like a little bit of slang in it, well then I'm gonna drop down to their level, and I'm not gonna stay up here and go, well, sir, and sir, and no, I'm gonna be like, all right, man, all right, well, tell me what's going on, dude. Human being talk, not something you read in a book, not something somebody taught you how to do. You gotta learn to fucking talk to people.
Well, and that in the chat here, WW2 Girl says, I'm 20, almost 21, and some of the new words that people come up with even now, I have no idea what they're talking about. And that's totally true. Like, there's been times where, like Kelsey has been talking to me, and I'm like, a what? Like, is that a thing? A word? Right? Like,
didn't we do that one time when she brought some fucking word? We're just like, when you're the levels of how you date somebody or something, right? And it's like
situationship.
Right? Yeah. It's a situationship.
Blew my mind.
Situationship.
Yeah.
That ain't even a fucking word.
Exactly. But it's so true. Like, there's definitely things that my generation said that you guys didn't say.
Well,
right?
I mean, if you want to hear something funny, the first time somebody use the word BOGO, I was like, that's some kind of landmine or something? Never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's buy one, get one free. I'm like, oh, well, where'd the F go?
Right.
It's a card carrying member.
Shouldn't it be BOGOF?
I just want to throw this in here. Hopefully it works, but I feel like it renders the perfect end to the conversation that the four of us are having, minus Phil, because he really didn't talk at all in this segment.
He talked about metoprolol. He talked about all the drugs and stuff.
I'm saying in this segment.
He's all into drugs. It's because he's fucking 10 years old. He don't know how to talk to people. He's probably doing this right now. You don't even see him.
He's got man bun restrictions.
Oh, yeah. Poor guy. See, you've rendered him silent. Poor guy. But I think we should all.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
I'm gonna one up you.
Turkish bath.
I'm gonna one up you on that one and play some Samuel L.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Nice. Yes.
Because I feel like that encompasses everything. Right?
It encompasses everything. And there are patients where, especially when you're, and that's the other thing, is dealing with family who are around their elderly patient.
Oh my God.
It's like, because you could definitely get another clip from that movie right after he kind of says that, I think, or somewhere around that point.
Yeah.
No, not that one. It was like, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. When they start chiming in.
Right. So while I search for this, go down that rabbit hole, because I agree. Like, I think there is something to be said about dealing with the patient's family.
It's not just family; it's also nursing home staff.
Well, they don't care.
Hold on to the nursing home staff for just a second.
They have to go to the hospital. They have to go to the hospital.
They have to go.
I'm the power attorney. They have to go to the hospital.
You're a power to these nuts is what you are. No, here's the thing. So, sorry.
This piece of paper says I say what they do.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my God.
You ever seen Major League? You know what I would do with that piece of paper?
I got your piece of paper swigging. Get the fuck out of here.
Drop it on the floor and start pissing on it. That's it. That's what that piece of paper means to me. But no, let's not get into the nursing home staff because we're not. That's just.
We'll get into that. That's for a little bit.
There's not enough time. There's not enough time in all the podcasts.
It's not my patient. It's not my floor. We can sum it up right now. It's not my patient. It's not my floor. I just got here
10 minutes ago.
The patient was fine 10 minutes ago. I know they're stiff with rigor mortis, but we just checked on them.
It's contagious. No. Stop.
Yeah. But no. So I'll never forget. Me and Emily did a call at our lovely nursing home there, and they were like, "Oh, he's got to go. Oh, the PA says he's got to go. He's got this, he's got that, and fucking he's COPD exacerbation and all the shit, and fucking difficulty breathing." I'm like, okay. We walk into the room. The dude's like just kind of getting back in bed, or he's just kind of like laying there in bed. You can tell he had just gotten back in bed, and he's watching TV. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "This is the patient, right? Oh yeah, he's got to go." Okay. Well, give me a second. What's going on? I don't know. Well, are you having a hard time breathing? It's like, no. Well, why would they say you're having a hard time breathing? He's like, I went to the bathroom, I came out and sat down. Like, so they saw you were having a hard time breathing after you went to the bathroom? Yeah. Number one, number two. Number two. Okay, so the dude was taking a shit, push a little bit, a lot of breath, go sit down, trying to refresh. And now they come fucking hovering over him. Oh, you got to fucking go to the hospital now because you took a fucking shit. So it's like, yeah, nah. You want to go to the hospital? No. I'm good with that. Oh, he's got, no. Sign here. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
That fucking cunt bitch, pardon my language, called the fucking station and was talking about how we fucking abandoned the patient and all this. I'm like, is she for real? But these are the people that work in these fucking nursing homes. So I don't even want to get into the fucking nursing home thing, please. Because
yeah,
we can keep going.
Oh, they try to.
How about? Oh, look at the stroke-like symptoms you called for. It's Wednesday. She's slumped over in her chair, drooling all over herself. Complete right side is done. Oh, when did you first notice this? Friday. Wait. It's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't matter. Timing doesn't matter.
That was when I had to. My EMT kicked me out of the fucking. Told me to go sit down and go in the ambulance and go get my shit together. Because somebody was gonna die.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm with all of you guys in that it is so frustrating to go into these places and deal with this level of just non-caring about other human beings.
Care.
Because that's what it is. It's just deliberate not caring about other human beings.
But we're short-staffed and we can't. Well, too fucking bad. We're all fucking short-staffed.
Exactly. Excuses, whatever. But
you had time to sit there and do this. For about an hour and a half, didn't you?
Well, so the one thing that I wanted to bring up in talking about nursing homes, and this kind of goes along with what Phil was saying, is bring up meds, right? Medication errors in the geriatric population, right? This is something that we all need to be cognizant of, because not only does the patient itself, like themselves, make errors, Maybe they get confused. They take not enough. Maybe they don't take it at all. Maybe they take too much. Maybe they take a completely different med because they, read the bottle wrong, whatever it might be. Right. But these numbers to me were like, it just proves the lack of caring for nursing home patients, right? So 66.4% of elderly medication errors occurred in nursing homes. Which
now, does that cover nursing homes, assisted livings?
That is nursing homes. That is nursing homes by themselves.
Okay.
Right? 41.5% of those 66.4% were in patients older than 75. And then, let's see, 45% of the errors were the staff giving medications at the wrong time to patients. So it's like, 66%, that is well above half, right? Half of the medication errors occurred in nursing homes, right? So this isn't like, oh, hey, grandma, she got confused and she took a couple meds. No. This is like, you get paid to hand out meds and then you go and fuck it up.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable to me. Right? So like, now we have to sit there and go, okay, I couldn't tell you, I literally right off the top of my head, I think about a call that I used to do all the time. It was a frequent flyer diabetic patient in a nursing facility, and the staff used to give that patient the wrong insulin all the time. They used to give the long acting when the short acting was supposed to be given. They used to give the short acting when the long was supposed to be given. They used to double this person up. And then we would get called because their blood sugar was like 4.
Right. And they need an evaluation.
So it's like, this happens all the time, right? And it festers and it makes all of us angry because it's like, your one job is to patient Smith, diazepam, 2 milligrams, 7 p.m. Here you go.
Well, I can tell you why it happens. I can tell you exactly why it happens.
Go ahead.
So when you go into the nursing home and you're supposed to have 2 nurses on the floor, then they give you 1 nurse on the floor. So that what that 1 nurse does now is she knows that at X amount of time, these patients are supposed to get these meds. So she'll go through and she'll pre-pour all these meds into these little med cups, which is illegal, by the way, in New York State. You're not supposed to pre-pour any meds into med cups. You're supposed to punch the bubbles into the cups at the predetermined time. That's how it's supposed to happen. But what they'll do is they'll go through and they'll pre-pour all the meds for the entire shift. And instead of, when you do that, they're like, oh, well, I'll just label them so I know that, patient A gets this med at this time and this. But, what kind of corner here? I'll just know which patient gets which med.
Of course you do.
So that, by 7 o'clock meds, by 8 o'clock meds, 9 o'clock meds, however it's, laid out the time frame. Next thing you know, old Jim Bob's getting the, his short acting Humalog at, after dinner when he's supposed to get it before dinner, and getting the long acting, after, it fucks it all up, and that's what happens.
So these are choices that the staff is making.
Yep, supposed to make their life better,
their
easier.
Life better, right? But at the same point, like, all of this just makes me think like, okay, we as providers coming in without all this mess, right, now have to double, triple, quadruple check all of these things, right?
But we'll never know, because as far as their EMARs show, their meds were distributed at the right times.
Right.
Right. So
we don't know.
The best that we can do is do our due diligence and ask the questions. And if things aren't adding up, put that in the back of your head, because there's plenty of times where I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, find out,
okay.
Ask them what was given this time. What was this, because of course, people don't lie in charts, right? I'm sure everything was given, absolutely appropriately. And you know what? I really hope it does. I really hope that is the case. But we're humans, right? Gerard, what do you always say, right? If it's designed by man, it's designed to fail.
It's made to fail. Yep.
Right? We're humans. That is exactly, that should be our mantra, right? We're humans. We're going to fuck it up. So you got to do the legwork. And actually look at these med lists and go, okay, does this make sense? Should this patient be acting this way? Or the vital signs that I'm getting reflective of what they've taken?
Right.
And EMTs could do that. It doesn't have to be, a big bad paramedic skill. Phil, after you're done with your douche flute there, you just blow it out. There you go. Keep going. There you go. What do you have to add to this?
Now get your hand on it. There you go. All right.
What flavor is it?
Penis.
All right, so I have two of them.
Meat thermometer.
Hot dog water.
Is mango ice.
What's the ice? Ice doesn't typically have a flavor.
That's the extra chemical the Chinese put in there to
that's
really make you a healthy American.
That's the meth in there to keep you addicted.
Yeah.
Oh!
And then
a little bit of Covades.
The other one
get
is
that in there too.
summer peach ice.
Summer peach.
Summer peach.
You like
ice.
this ice stuff, huh?
That's kind of a contradiction.
I have
summer. I have
pre-iced
ice. Oh, you got pre-iced.
I have pre-ice.
You have pre-iced ice.
The ice is like a menthol flavor.
Okay, hold on. You have peach and menthol?
It's not horrible. I mean,
but it can't be good.
I also used to smoke Lucky Strikes like they were going out of style, which they did 90 fucking years ago.
Talent, man. Talent.
You get yourself back of Cools, you'd be able
to... You know what's funny? I kind of think those might actually be better than these chemicals.
I mean, probably.
You know?
Why not?
I mean, granted,
you don't look as cool with a man bun.
Right. Yeah, that's true. No, because if he was smoking the Lucky Strikes, then he would actually have to get the wife beater, the pompadour, get the wingtips going,
shirt,
a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
what used to be considered cool.
Cool. So, Butch, you brought up an interesting topic that you kind of wanted to discuss. We've talked about like the polypharmacy and stuff, right? How many meds these patients, people, whatever, are on. But you brought up a really good one, and I kind of want to end with this discussion in the poly doc, right? The poly physician, right? For those that don't know what it is, kind of explain what it is and what we see with it, the struggles.
So for those of us that are getting older, like card-carrying members of AARP, such as I am, a lot of times we'll start getting more doctors as we go along. Yeah, thank you, G.
Can I just make one statement? Is that there is no age limit to be an AARP member. You don't have to be 55 and above. I'm 36.
Wait a minute. That takes all the fun out of it.
My wife is 35, and we are both AARP members. Just saying.
Oh my God.
So you can't even be special in that realm.
Welcome to the club.
Wow.
So
why would you do that?
Because you get fucking shit for free, man. Like, you get stuff. Like, I can go to, the like Hyatt Regency and flash my AARP card and get $50 off.
But you know what that to me that sounds like? That sounds like
being
you
smart.
might as well just say, "Hey, you know what? I went to the grocery store the other day and I saw that parking space with the blue wheelchair. I said, fuck it, I'm parking there anyway."
Yeah,
you probably wrote a check too, didn't you? You didn't even fill it out first. You just waited the cashier's line. You wrote the whole thing out there.
Right.
How do you spell 100 again?
Oh my God, do I not miss that? Oh, my mom used to do that. I'm like, Mom, just get a debit card. No. Like, get a debit card. So embarrassing.
So yeah, anyway.
Carry on.
So, the elderly generation will go to doctors for, different reasons. And they get a different doc for everything. You have a cardiologist, you'll have rheumatologists, nephrologists,
pulmonologist.
Opticians for eyes, like pulmonologists,
podiatrists.
And these doctors don't talk to each other. I mean, they're supposed to with all this new charting systems we have, like Epic and all these different charting systems, but they don't. So, I mean, to go along with polypharmacy, they'll put them on these medications for this, ache, this pain, this breathing problem, this heart condition, and who knows what they're on, and their primary doc has no idea what's going on, even though every time you go to a checkup, they're like, "Are you still on this? Are you on this? Are you on this?" And
It is amazing how, like, none of the docs ever catch this.
Yeah.
And there are a few that do, but the vast majority just, yep, you got hypertension, let me put you on this. Oh, you got some, cardiac problem, let's put you on this. And then they like double it, or, they give something that reacts poorly with that. And it's like, now you're just making yourself feel even worse.
And if you have an old school doc, like how many of your patients have you come across with still
old medications? Yeah.
Like itch.
Right.
So here's the funny thing.
I had a patient a couple years ago like last summer that was ditch toxic. Like, throw them on the pads. You had to pace them a little bit, throw a little atropine, some fluids to, like, I remember how to do that because that's what I had to do. It's
when I first got my hypertension diagnosis, the doctor I was going to was apparently some kind of quack because, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know nothing about it, but Perlin hydrochlorothiazide is what she put me on, and then I go to to a new primary care and I'm going through everything, and they're like, "You're not taking these two together, are you?" I'm like, well, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to. They're contraindicated. Oh, maybe you should tell the doctor that prescribed them together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
sure they keep doing stuff like that all the time and keep on practicing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Before my dad passed, I was going through his medications. Like, you can't take these together. These don't work together. So I made a list of stuff that he couldn't take together because his breathing was getting worse, his heart was getting worse. I was like, yeah, because you're on these medications. You need to go talk to your doc about this.
Yeah.
And, because I wasn't immediate family or whatever, or wasn't on his healthcare proxy, I couldn't just go talk to him. So my mom went with him and they talked with the doc. They took him off some stuff and got, different medications, whatever, that worked better for him. And I even got a list of other things that would work better than what he was on, because he was on some old school, like, pulmonary stuff. I was like, no, that's like 1930 stuff. Like, you can't be sucking down some asbestos down your lungs. You got to get this other new stuff.
Yeah, go to
the asbestos isn't helping anymore.
Yeah, get on the morphine tincture or something.
Tincture.
Yeah.
There's a weird fucking word you don't hear every day anymore.
Right.
Taking the laudanum.
I don't know why. A little laudanum. Yeah.
Yeah, get on there here.
Yeah. Just a little. That'll do you.
That'll do you. But no, and it's something like, I know we keep coming back to this, but knowing the meds that, people take, and even if you don't know them, looking them up and going, okay, this is used for this, right? An EMT and a paramedic are not going to, most of the time, are not going to sit there in the half hour that we're with these patients and go, Eureka! I know exactly why they feel like garbage. It's because they're taking these 5 meds and they shouldn't be.
Right.
we're not going to do that. But maybe we can.
20 years of experience might teach you something.
Maybe, Mr.
That's why they call me the Maha.
Exactly. Just we'll.
Do you still have calluses on your hands from writing your charts on fucking stone tablets?
Yeah, I do actually. I still got the dinosaur bones on the basement.
Which we don't want to go down this rabbit hole because I just had this conversation with someone.
Oh,
and oh my goodness. Yeah. So, you know how when you...
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm going to go
sure
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I want to go down the rabbit hole. I'm sure it's like this everywhere.
Here it goes.
I'm sure it's like this everywhere.
Want to hit? Here it goes.
Here you go.
Oh, Lord.
So, with the advent of electronic PCRs, notice how they're just like, oh, dump your patient, get back in your rig, get back in service. You can type on your way and all that good stuff. Isn't that great? Yeah, you know what? This is why we really need fucking some kind of, and you know me, I fucking hate anything that has to do with any kind of federal oversight.
They did that.
We need
with
some federal
paper,
fucking
though.
oversight. Because the reason everyone's getting burnt to a crisp is because of that type of pace right there. Because we used to write your chart, hand the carbon to the hospital, and then go back in service because you had to leave it before you left.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And somewhere that rule is still on the books.
But
no one just pays attention to it anymore.
You have that missed form now.
Yeah, all you need is the quick sheet.
Ooh, look, missed. Sorry.
I mean, there has been times when I've literally sat in the parking lot of a hospital and said, "We're not moving this ambulance till I get my chart done." I've had those conversations with people.
Yeah.
Because how many times do you forget something? Oh, fuck, I forgot about doing that. Oh, shit, I forgot I did that. Oh, yeah.
Well, not even that, but, it's funny, like, you go back in, you start writing your chart for, patient A, and then you finally finish that after you've done chart, patient B, C, D, and E. And now you finally, 7 hours later, finish patient A, and they're like,
right,
why didn't you get your chart in 4 hours?
Hey, suck my ass.
Maybe
How about
I did
that?
5 more calls,
Yeah.
And then, like, I couldn't tell you how many times that's happened where I'm like, oh, did I give the morphine to patient A or B or D?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Like, you start
confusing patients.
Right, you start confusing patients.
You start your
have you noticed who still stays at the hospital until they're done?
No.
Those when they go out and they chalk their big fire engine out in front of the hospital because they rode in with the ambulance service, and then the fire truck is still sitting there long after the ambulance is gone.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Let's take it a fire call and they gotta go.
Well,
how often does that happen? Please.
Like I said, you still see him sitting there all the time.
So,
but I'm not hating. I'm actually pointing to that as that's how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Well, this is trying to figure out how to spell certain words, but
well, that takes a little longer. Does it rhyme with 2.5?
Smooth bore.
So, like, is there, as we kind of wrap up this episode before we move on to the rest of the stream, do you guys have anything else to add? Just, not saying that we talked about it, or just anything to add about the geriatric population that you guys want to throw to the people who listen.
Phil, say something.
I was just going to say, Phil, you should enlighten us with the knowledge of the man bun.
They're pretty fucking stubborn.
That is a fact. That is a damn fact.
Like, once you finally convince them to go, they don't let you fucking do anything. And then you're sitting there arguing with them the whole way to the fucking hospital. And then they call your station and they're like, your providers didn't do anything for my husband.
What you want to hear something?
You fucking old crow, because you didn't fucking let me touch him. Fuck
so
you.
Here's
Who's
something.
bitter now?
So here's something.
You're welcome.
I've never had that happen to me.
That must be fucking nice.
It's about how you approach it. I've never had anyone's family or anyone ever call the station and say, "Oh, he was fucking mean to me, and he wouldn't do this, and he." Oh, well, then you need some introspection on that, because I've had the same patients, man. I've had the same fucking patients, and I hear these people go, "Oh, that motherfucker," and then I go and I'm like, well, motherfucker sounds like the motherfucker's the motherfucker that didn't know how to do their fucking job. So
Usually
all that shit.
Usually, the ones that get to hate me are the ones that didn't really need me there.
There's always going to be an a-hole, but
Gerard,
there's just always going to be an a-hole.
I absolutely love you, Gerard.
Why?
Because I was literally about to break in and say that everybody listening should go back in the archives of this show and check out episode 29, The Old A-Hole, because it is a wonderful geriatric episode where we literally talk about this exact patient, right?
I remember that,
The nursing home staff is like, this guy is an asswipe. He's terrible. He's gonna, freak out on you, blah, blah, blah. And the providers walk in, and it is nothing but sunshine and rainbows. And it's all because of how they treated that patient.
All right.
So make sure, go back, even if you've listened to it before, listen to it again, episode 29, The Old A-Hole. Absolutely fantastic.
Hit the like button. Subscribe.
Do the thing.
Rate
join
and
the
review.
Right?
Definitely join the Patreon.
Do something.
Do something, you peckers.
Lazy motherfuckers.
Share with your friends. Have them subscribe.
Hit the share. No, I can't share because I can't hit that like button. It's I got a carpal tunnel.
It's too hard.
I'm writing all those PCRs in the truck.
Oh my God! Anything else for the Maha and or Gerard to add to anything that we discussed today?
Just piggybacking on Phil's stuff. I mean, like, it's like, I'm not trying to piss on you, even though I'm in the box above you. Although I don't know what I'm in on the actual feed, but
you are to the right of him, so you'd have to piss over to him.
Bank shot that shit like Dr. J. Huh?
Yeah.
Get the hook action going. Hey, challenge accepted. But
calm down, R. Kelly.
But
Mr. fucking trapped in the closet.
Nah, for real. I really do want to piss on you. Yeah, it's 9 times out of 10, and there's always gonna be that 10th time, but 9 times out of 10, if you had that experience with a geriatric, you did something wrong, and you should stop, go back, look at where things went south, and then back up a little bit further and go from there and figure out, okay, at what point did I hit the point of no return and turn them against me?
Yep.
And then figure out a way not to do that again. And it's literally just talking to people, and finding a see, that's really the most important thing, is finding a common interest. Because if you can find something in common, and this goes with any of your patients, but if you can, especially with the older ones, if you can find something that lets them know that you understand them, or understand things that they've done or been into or whatever, that goes a long way. Then if you go, so Mr. Jones, I know you're 79 years old. Did you see that TikTok video the other day? He's gonna be like,
Tick who?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that bat and I'm gonna TikTok your fucking head.
I mean, it does lend itself. There's many times where you can find amazing.
Oh, he's done. He walked away.
Fantastic stories from these patients. And
I'm sorry. Hold on. He might. For a second, he thought he had a customer.
Oh damn!
Oh,
Had to check the hole.
God damn!
Holy crap!
Damn!
I didn't continue. I'm sorry.
I can after that.
Sure you can. Keep going. Geriatrics.
I have completely
Talk to people. Good
completely
stuff.
wrecked it.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
That's it. That's where I'm going to end it. Thank you, Gerard. More in a couple minutes when we transition to End of Tour Live. But for those that are listening to the podcast, thank you again for joining us. Get your cronuts, medicmaterials.com/merch. You definitely want to get them now before there possibly might be a contest coming shortly with the cronut. So definitely want to get your hands on those. And become a Patreon. Duh. Like,
for real.
That's it. There's so much cool shit on there and so many way worse discussions that we have on Patreon than we ever do on the free show. So that's where I'm going to leave you. We'll see you in about 5 minutes for End of Tour Live. Till next time, guys, stay safe. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. Gerard?
New Mike Donuts.
Ooh, I like it.
Courtesy of the Patreons.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you want more information on the podcast or to send us a call review, please visit medicmaterials.com/podcast. To learn more about earning continuing education credit from listening to this episode or others, check out Medic Materials CMEacademy.thinkific.com. We appreciate your continued dedication towards EMS education and helping us advance the field. See you next time.